The Anunnaki needed gold. Now, they couldn't get it from their own planet, so they decided that they would try and get it from the asteroid belt, which they called the Hammer Bracelet. That's actually the transcription of it. And they sent up 2 ships. Yes, they did have space technology back then, and that's the furthest they'd ever have gone onto the asteroid belt. So they went up there and to mine for gold. Now, the asteroid belt apparently is part of a planet called Tiamat that was here and was smashed into, and the Tiamat supposedly had 2 halves to it. One was land and the other half was ocean. And apparently our Earth is the ocean part when it got smashed into billions and billions of years ago. But so that's why we've got gold, and also the top part's got gold, which is now the asteroid belt. But unfortunately, the 2 spaceships that went up to mine for gold didn't ever come back. So the Anunnaki couldn't get the gold from the asteroid belt, and they tried the rockets into the volcanoes, and that didn't work either. And this was a time that Alalulu was being deposed by Anu, who was younger, and Anu was actually the rightful heir, really, because of the bloodline, whereas Alalulu was from a concubine, as opposed to his mum should have been the wife of the king, but it wasn't. It was a concubine that gave birth to Alalulu. So, cut a long story short, Alalulu had a wrestling match, naked wrestling match, as that's what they do, which does give us rise to our Olympics and our Roman games where they used to watch people wrestle. But anyway, Alalulu was deposed and left, had to leave Nibiru. So he jumped in a ship in the commander's seat, and this is all in the Book of Enki, the Lost Book of Enki. And Alalulu left Nibiru because he was banished and headed towards Earth. And this is all in the Book of Enki, Lost Book of Enki, but obviously it's from ancient tablets. Now these tablets are hundreds of thousands of years old. Mainstream will tell you they're 5,000 to 10,000 years old. No, hundreds of thousands of years ago is when these were written. But anyway, Alalulu then in the spaceship passes the asteroid belt, and this is all described perfectly in his in the texts. So if you get a chance, try and read or listen to an audiobook of the Lost Book of Enki. You blow your mind. Now, as he passes all these different planets on his own in this spaceship towards Earth, he's describing each planet. Now, this is thousands of years old information. Even if it's 10,000 years old, which is not, thousands of years old, this still proves that back then they knew about all these different planets. He talks about the rings on Saturn, etc. Alalulu finally makes it to Earth in his ship. He has trouble trying to get through the firmament, the atmosphere. As soon as he gets through it, he manages to deploy the wings. So his spaceship actually has retractable wings from the description, which is quite a clever idea, really. It makes sense. So it could be used in space and in atmospheres. And he, according to the transcribed, he pressed a certain button on his ship and it would scan for gold around the area. So in other words, they had technology like LiDAR of some description that could detect where gold was, and he found gold, so he landed his ship nearby. He got out wearing his spacesuit and walked over to this local water. This probably isn't it, but I walked over to water, but it looked like this. It was boggy marshland. He saw a fish swimming around, and so that means they had fish back on their own planet. And he tested the water using equipment, and he couldn't drink it because it was... Alalulu couldn't drink the water from the boggy marsh, but he noticed something slithering. He pulled out a weapon of some description and blasted it. That's what the description makes it sound like. He kills it and he looks at it and he thinks to himself that it looks like a moving rope. So he looks closely and sees the eyes on it and the fangs, and it describes a long tongue, so it was a snake, obviously, and they don't have those on their planet. So he went looking for more water and found another lake, and he tested that water and it was okay to drink. So he was happy to himself that that could happen. He went back to his craft, got some more provisions, and realised that the night had suddenly come, which was really unusual for him because obviously our days are way short for him, so it literally felt like 5 minutes to him. It's like, what? It's dark. So he went to sleep, and the next morning I will tell you in the next video.